Welcome to Let Freedom Ring. This week, my guest, Anthony Brogna, a.k.a. Royce Bishop. Anthony, welcome to the show.
Oh, pleasure being here, man. I'm excited.
Happy to have you. All right, well, let's get to know you just a little bit.
Right.
Anthony, where are you from and where did you grow up?
So I grew up in the Winter Hill section of Somerville, Massachusetts. There's a lot of history behind Winter Hill. Winter Hill gang. Whitey Bulger's name gets brought up a lot. So yeah, I grew up there till my high school years. Moved to Haverhill. We didn't grow up with much. Just family. A lot of people say you find wealth in family, right? Yeah. Not riches and monetary value. So we didn't grow up with much, and I guess a blessing in disguise was we got into a car accident. My mother got a good payout for the car accident, and she used that to buy our first house. So when I got into high school, we had moved. It was a little difficult, moving away from my friends and stuff. But the stuff I was into, it was probably good to move, to kind of start over. And I did my high school years in Haverhill.
Awesome. I know Haverhill. What I always remember about Haverhill is I played in a baseball tournament there. Because there's like a place where there's like 9 baseball fields. Yeah. I played softball there too. But yeah, we know that you were a wrestler. We know that you were a rapper or still a rapper. Well, what's one thing everybody should know about you?
I guess multifaceted, right? Pro wrestler, rapper. That's what people always see.
Yeah.
I would say I'm a husband and father first. Being in a ring, being on stage, rapping, any of those things that I've ever done is awesome. I can't describe it. But being at my kids' basketball games, my daughter's dance recitals, things like that, it takes the cake. It's definitely, a step up. Living through them is definitely a step up than what I can do on my own.
Awesome. And I can tell just off social media that you're a very proud father.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, and this question, sticking with the theme of the show, and we get a lot of different answers on this question because it means a lot of different things to a lot of people. And I know I go through the spiel every week, so anybody watching. But what does it mean to you to be an American?
I've never really thought too much into it, mainly because it's how I'm born and raised, right? I never really saw a difference. What I can say from experience, my wife's from the Dominican Republic. I've traveled down there multiple times. Basically, I have a second home down there. I've traveled through very bad areas down there, both crime-ridden areas and then also very poor areas. I've taken my kids to very poor areas where we could give back, giving out clothing, food, things like that. Nice. And to see how they live, that's what makes me proud to be an American. To know, as I said earlier, growing up I didn't have much. I was rich and compared to how they live, you know. So great appreciation for what we truly have, and I think. Myself, just like a lot of people, I think we overlook that sometimes, and we kind of we take it for granted like anything. So I'm very proud to be an American in that sense. Knowing that what we have is so much better than what a lot of people have, no matter how bad it seems. Yeah,
no, I agree with that. I was arguing with some people in a group chat today, and politics stuff, and I was just saying, at the end of the day, I'm happy with my life. Proud to be an American. My life ain't that bad.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of it is one, social media drives a lot of that stuff. Yeah. Drives a wedge in between a lot of us too. There's a whole lot of truths to a lot of bad stuff that's out there too. Yeah. But how much stuff really affects us on a daily basis as well, I think is a big part. I think a lot of the stuff, if you got off social media altogether and you just went about your daily life, how much of this stuff would actually hit home for you? So it's a gift and a curse. I'm not saying that you don't want to have that stuff. You absolutely want to be able to see what's going on in the world. But I think if you kind of lived in your own bubble, then a lot of this stuff just doesn't affect the average person.
Yeah, no, I agree with it. It's so in our face now. All right, well, let's get into current events. Tuesday was the 17th year anniversary of when Maura Murray went missing.
Yep.
I've been obsessed with this case because there's just no explanation. We're talking about 7 minutes from where she crashed her car into a snowbank in Haverhill, New Hampshire. No one's seen her since 2004. Any takes on that? Any idea what happened to her?
So I see her post every year.
Yeah.
I always see it come up every year, every anniversary. And I know like her family has been very open to, putting up the website and asking for help. And I believe it's her sister is more, her dad's kind of washed his hands. I think he believes one thing and her sister believes something else. Her dad is accepting that, maybe she's not here anymore, and her sister believes, there's more to be found and more out there, and they're looking for answers. So, I'm into all that stuff, not just our case, but just in general.
Yeah,
like I'm a cold case kind of guy. I definitely like catch myself going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like it's
so
crazy. It's I know they have this. I remember I read. They had like dogs going bonkers at a place that they wouldn't let them search for some reason, which is odd to me.
The guy that owned the house wouldn't let them, and they sold it.
And the guy that owned the house, I believe, had a relationship with the guy who they might have thought did something, right? The rusty knife guy or whatever, something like that.
Because the bus driver's also been investigated and looked at. Yeah, so there's a lot of different factors into that.
And so, I think what's really weird about it is, it could be. It's like two totally separate stories. It's like, where was she going? Why was she going there? Right? We still don't know. We don't know almost 2 decades later. Have no clue where she was going, why she was looking at going to Vermont, right? What was going on with her boyfriend? People think that it might have been a suicide thing. I don't think it looked like that.
No.
The liquor that's missing out of the car, like she took that with her. When she crashed the car and she leaves, right? So it's so many things. It's like she was clearly going somewhere and looked like the party or something. Like she was going for a good time.
Yeah.
She made up a lie at school. I don't look that deep into that. So she told the teacher that someone died in her family. She was just trying to get out of school for a week, right? She's trying to go clear her mind. Her and her boyfriend having problems, whatever it may be. So I don't know if that's in direct relation to her actual disappearance, right?
It's so mind-boggling. I'm rewatching some stuff. I've been obsessed with this for too long. Like every time there's something that even comes out, I'm like, whoa, where,
Yeah. we can go on a search party right now if you want.
Oh,
we'll just cut this short.
We'll just go do this.
Just go look.
I will say, James Ratner, I believe is his name. He was the big blogger that did a lot of stuff in this, and I don't. If she was indeed pregnant, which I'm not saying that she was, the boyfriend is if she's been gone 17 years, it's a year away from him having no legal rights. So it makes you wonder, what's going to happen next? I'm not saying this, it's going to happen, but I'm like, part of me goes, what if she just comes back and is like, the kid's 18.
Yep.
You don't have anything to do with it. Now I'm back.
I can see that.
So
it's just no sightings, nothing like that. Like just talking about earlier, like with like where I'm from and like Whitey Bulger being such a name.
Yeah.
I mean, to be on the run for over 20 years, right? Like he was in plain sight, but he was on the run. So again, like, is she that good to have done that? He had a lot of resources, a lot of money to do stuff like that. Is she that good that she's able to do that? I mean,
Wolf. I mean,
but again, if she was going up north, she's up north.
And if you remember, like back then, I don't know if this really plays an impact, but like I remember going into Canada in 2004. You just need to show them your license. Oh, you're of age. Go ahead. Now you got to scan your passport.
Yeah.
So I mean, if she did go into Canada, there probably wouldn't be much of a record of it. You know, so
you're not tracing people as much as you are now.
No,
right?
not at all.
Cell phones, things like that. Stop using her cell phone.
Yeah,
but she took everything with her.
Yeah.
So the fact that she took everything with her, is it a true disappearance? Or did somebody really abduct her on that walk?
Yeah, I am going to say this on the show. I do believe she ran. And don't at me at that. All right, New York announces fans can return in person with a COVID test. Obviously, football's already over.
Yep.
We're walking into baseball in a little bit. I guess they're saying this with indoor events too. Is it time to start letting fans back everywhere, even if it's just a little bit?
I don't know. I'm a mixed bag of emotions with all COVID stuff. I myself recovered from COVID right after Christmas. It was tough 2 weeks. I was definitely wasn't as bad as some, but it was probably the worst sickness I've ever had. It wasn't maybe a couple scary days, but it wasn't like scary like I was on a ventilator, I had to go to the hospital or anything. So my side of it is like, we can have 25,000 people in a stadium to watch Tom Brady win a Super Bowl. But my friend can't go to the hospital while his wife gives birth.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
That's I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist. I'm not like super against the government. Like don't come knocking on my door.
Yeah.
But there's some weird stuff about that.
Yeah.
Obviously money is tied to a lot of this.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do that, right? There's so much money behind sports. If you're going to do that, then just open it up.
Yeah.
Figure out ways to do that exact same thing. If you can come in with a negative test within 3 days of being there or whatever, then you might as well open everything back up. All these people that are losing their businesses, all the restaurants, all the people that don't have jobs now because of it, why can we go to Walmart and pack Walmart and get each other sick?
Yeah.
Why could we go to, if we're going to be going to sporting events, why can we go to sporting events where we can easily get sick? Like, you can show me, again, what's the details on the test?
Yeah.
Is it same day results that are only 85%? So what's the transmission rate still going to happen during that? Even now, if it's within 3 days, well, cool. I can get a negative test 3 days ago and then go get sick the next day,
you could go
right?
to a gas station and get it.
So you're either completely locked. My view's always been you're either completely locked down and everyone just get through this together and stop crying about wearing a mask and inconveniencing yourself and all that stuff, or just open it up then if we're going to be doing that. Yeah. But it's crazy because we're so close to this vaccine really fully being rolled out. Some states are slower than others. But if we're that close to it, then why are we pushing so much now? Why not just, we've already waited long enough, right?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I mean, it's for selfish reasons. If I can go to a Celtics game, I'll say, inject me right now. You want whatever you want me to do, I'll go do it. It's crazy though, but I will say, just talking about business owners losing stuff. I've said some things about Dave Portnoy after the election, where Barstool, I've always been a fan of it, but I didn't like some of his takes.
Yep.
But I will say the Barstool Fund has been great. I donated to that a couple times. I hope it can help as many businesses as possible, because you're right. You work your whole life to have a restaurant or whatever, and then things out of your control just
absolutely. As a business owner myself, I've taken a huge hit this year, like most have. I've sacrificed a lot to make sure my employees can still put food on the table. They're putting a lot less food on the table than they once were because of that. And we're all working together to try to keep everything afloat. But so it's like, for me, I would take it personal in a sense of, okay, cool, we can put, 15,000 people in the garden, but I can't, do my job as I used to, right? Where, again, they're not hurting. Those athletes aren't hurting. The owner, I don't care how much money an owner loses. They're nowhere close to if I miss a few paychecks, or my sales guys, they miss a few paychecks. That's a big deal.
It's a bigger, that's the thing. I mean, that's probably, we look at that a lot in this country is different, obviously the billionaires, they're going to be okay at the end of the day.
I don't feel bad.
Kind of getting into that too. The Trump impeachment kind of growing, 1 minute it's like, oh, maybe they'll get him. And a lot of people are leaving. I don't know what the number was. It said like 140,000 people are now not Republican or whatever. They renounced their
we'll see when
whatever they registered. But do you think Trump deserves impeachment on this one? At least deserves it, or are they wasting their time?
My view on it is, if it can stop him from running again, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything you can to keep him away from office again, absolutely, 100%. For those that don't know me, I'm clearly not a Trump supporter. For those that do know me, they know they see the way I react to a lot of these things. I think besides who he is as a person and the ugly stuff that he's shown us, what happened at the Capitol is it's disgusting, and his reaction to it is disgusting. And whether the argument is that he underlyingly planned this, the fact of his reaction to it didn't, discredit it or stop them from doing it. He said worse things about other people. He said worse things about football players kneeling for the anthem than he said about the Proud Boys or about people storming the Capitol, things like that. So I kind of see it from a standpoint of, I think he elicits a lot of fear and he empowers these kind of people. These people are, a lot of these people that are doing these things they're really in the deep end, and
now they're regretting it. Some of them, the shaman.
Oh, they are, and
the guy who I have to have organic food.
Mm-hmm. and so the problem is the fact that he gets that is a problem to me. because you have unarmed black people getting killed every single day.
Yeah.
But this goofball gets organic food because his mom cried that he needs to eat organic food. Yeah. You know, those same people. I was talking to a friend about this today, actually, because we were talking about Gina Carano from The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
right?
I saw that today,
losing her job over some stupid stuff that she said that she should not have said.
I read that and was like, what?
And so part of the conversation was, the people that say she shouldn't lose her job are the same people telling LeBron James to shut up and dribble.
Yeah.
And what is the difference? Why?
There is none.
You know? And to me, the difference is the color of the skin at that point, right? Where are the Blue Lives Matter activists right now for the Capitol riot?
Yeah.
You know? They're not as... You know, there's some of them still out there that just truly believe that there's such thing as blue lives that aren't avatars or anything like that, you know, cops are blue lives, and that's fine. But you need to keep your same narrative. So,
but that's the thing, is that they don't. It's whatever fits the agenda at that time.
Exactly.
You know, to say that Gina Carano can say things like that, but Kaepernick can't kneel, like, what are we really, what?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the divide. We continue to push the divide.
Yeah.
And people, and you know, I always said I was ashamed of Trump becoming president and everything that's happened and all the people that have been able to. I can speak from my wife's stand-up view. You know, her being an immigrant, you know, that came here from Dominican Republic, and her family, and she feels like people feel like they have more power to say things, snarky things, looks. We see way more of the go back to your country stuff online now.
Oh, yeah.
Speak English, things like that, right? We see so much of that, and Trump empowers those people. And a close friend of mine said we should be thankful for it because these people expose themselves. And that's where I can say that's probably the good thing. I've unfriended a lot of people on Facebook, a lot of people that I was surprised at some of their reactions to things. I said, that's fine. I'd rather know that then.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather know that because, you know, my kids are mixed.
Yeah.
What are you saying about my children when they're not around? You know, and when my back's turned. So I'd rather people expose themselves for who they are.
No, I agree with that, and it is sickening, a lot of things that we saw. I mean, I was disgraced when he won. Yeah. This guy's been a slime ball forever. Not just when he was president. You want to talk, you know, a lot of these conservatives talk about people being upset about, not upset, but like wanting student loan forgiveness. This guy took out loans and never paid them back.
Of course. He created a fake university to get money.
You know, like, and this is the guy that they love. And it's just, we're so ass backwards at times.
Dwayne Johnson, 2032.
Hey, I would take the Rock.
I'm ready.
I'd definitely take the Rock. All right, let's get into some fan questions here.
Awesome.
Because you have a few. A lot of people are shocked, I guess, is what I got off of Facebook.
I saw them.
From Tin Senate, okay, since this post alone is news to me, here's my question. Former wrestler, what happened?
All right. So I know a lot of people ask this, so we could try to get it all wrapped up.
Yeah. We'll skip through the other ones a little bit.
My wrestling career is a multifaceted answer. There's not one decision. There's not even really a full decision that's been made. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a former wrestler.
Okay.
I know I'm a wrestler. I've wrestled. Do I want to continue to wrestle? Yes. Would I like to wrestle in the future? Yeah, definitely. I think that there's such a passion for it. There's such a love for it. Would I go take a tryout? Would I go to AEW Dark? Yeah, I probably would. If that came across my table, I don't think I would turn it down. So I'm not saying I'm fully done, but it's a lot of things. So I can be very open and say, during my time on the road as a wrestler, I developed into somebody I didn't like anymore, myself personally. I dealt with a lot of low self-esteem, a lot of anxiety issues, a lot of self-hate, which again you don't see on camera.
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, I was not a person that was a good person. I wasn't a good husband. I wasn't a good dad. A lot of my personal life affected from it. I hurt a lot of people. So along with that came a lot of mental health issues. I struggled a lot, even before COVID. Getting into COVID, even worse, where I can say I'm in a good place now. So you see my hat, God first. I'm back in church. I go to church twice a week. focused on, making sure my marriage is good, that I'm the best father I can be, dealing with my anxiety issues, my fears. I'm not afraid to say I've seeked out medication. I'm on medication now. Anything to help me get better and get in a better place, because I wasn't in a good place at all. Again, during it, and then even worse after, when COVID really hit. Compiling that on top of my shoulder is just not good. So we've talked about a lot when
I know what that's like.
and you've had a shoulder injury. So most recently, I found out I was misdiagnosed with a grade 2 separation. It was actually a grade 3, which is an extra tear in a ligament. So when you have a grade 2 separation, basically where your collarbone connects, to your shoulder, and that's your AC joint. Basically, it pulled away, and that's a grade 2. And then you have another ligament that if that pulls away, that's a grade 3. Well, they thought I had a grade 2. I rushed back. I gained a lot of weight immediately. I mean, even now, but but not so much because of COVID. But I got the COVID weight, but before then I gained the shoulder weight.
Yeah, I did too.
I was off for about two months, and I really didn't care. I was upset. I was extremely upset at myself because I didn't have to get injured.
Yeah.
I'll never blame it on the person I was working with. I could have protected myself. I didn't. And I hurt myself. So I was very angry at myself, which I took it out on myself, eating emotionally, So, from there I rushed back. I had some pressure from some people to get back in, whether good or bad. I don't want to throw, I'm a grown man. I can make my own decisions. So again, with mental health and things like that, again, I didn't make the right decision. I wasn't in a good space, and I rushed back because I thought I had a great opportunity and I needed to keep taking advantage of it. And I made it worse, and so now I'm still dealing with it. And a big part of my shoulder is, do I want to get surgery? And if I do get surgery, it has to only be for a return to the ring.
Yeah.
I don't see myself getting cut open if I'm just going to live a regular life as a dad and a business owner, So I'm torn now. I'm sorry for the relationships that I hurt. I broke a lot of relationships during that time, which stinks. I had some great relationships in wrestling. So I a lot of those went away. Wish I could get a second chance with, a lot of people that I said and did things to, or way my attitude was, or my mental health. I consider myself a different person now. I'm absolutely a different person. Whether it's not the Shawn Michaels story. I didn't find God. I've always believed in God. I've always been a Catholic, but for me, it's something that's been more in the forefront of my life now, as I'm just reprioritizing everything.
Yeah.
So for everyone that is wondering, hey, what is the deal? What's going on? I wouldn't 100% say former wrestler. I would just say I'm on, to use Mike Crockett's phrase, the chaotic wrestling senior official, former. I'm on extended hiatus.
Okay.
But I haven't made no solid decisions left. It's still left on the table for me. I don't think I'm fully out, but a long discussion with my family and I guess putting back together some of those relationships that I mending those relationships that I may have hurt is definitely, it could happen in the future.
Good. I mean, I think we'd all like to see you back.
I appreciate that.
And
I would, believe me, I would love to. If everything was all good and COVID was gone and everything was good in my life, then I would love to be back tomorrow.
Yeah, no. Well, hopefully, that happens. And I definitely understand with I did go under the knife. They had to put cadaver tissue in there, and all I want to do is play softball, not be a wrestler. So I totally get that.
If it was my right arm, it'd be worse because I'm a righty. But because it's my left arm, I could do all my stuff with my kids, and so it's I can live my regular life.
Yeah.
It's painful at times at the gym. It's extremely painful. They didn't think those rotator cuff issues. Now they're kind of questioning it again.
Okay.
A lot of inflammation, a lot of pain up and down my tricep that they're like, we might want to take a look at it again to see if it is rotator as well as AC joint. And so again, for me, I can live with it if I'm just going to live a regular life. But if I'm going to go back in the ring, then I obviously have to take it more serious and get it taken care of.
No, I get that. I mean, I remember. I couldn't move it.
Yep.
I remember when they told me it was torn. I sat in my car for about a half hour before I left. Where I had the MRI at St. Joe's, and just being like, So
try being a wrestler and you caused it yourself. I caused it. I look back at it. I watched the match. I have the clip on my phone of exactly when I separated it, and I just go, idiot. What are you doing? Like, why didn't you protect yourself there? So
it totally. I mean, mine was flag football. I went for a pass. Maybe I shouldn't have, and I got taken out by a young kid.
Yep.
And if I ever find that kid, I owe you a receipt.
Absolutely, absolutely. But when it happened, it was I will say, Jared Doomling. Thank you. I mean, one of the best guys in the world. Great fan.
Former guest of the show.
Super supporter of everything I've ever done. And you know what? He was there as a fan. To help me carry my stuff to the car after he knew I was hurt.
Where was this?
This was at an APW show.
APW, okay.
So myself and Christian Casanova, we were tag teaming against tag team champs Nightbreed.
Okay. Yeah.
And it happened right at the end, so it was good. I didn't have to drag through a whole match. Happened right at the end of the match, and I looked over at Seth Owen, one half of the tag team champs, and I said, "Is my shoulder out?" And he goes, "No, it looks fine." And I go, "I think when I take this vest off, it's going to be a problem." And it was. We got to the back, and I took off the vest, and I was in extreme pain. And Jared was great. He stayed there, and him and Christian helped me, get to my car and get all the boxes together, all our merchandise and all that stuff. So it was really nice of him to do that. I appreciate anyone that's, especially now through finding myself again, people that are genuine, and like yourself, reason why I'm here today, and we continue to talk and have a relationship outside of the wrestling industry, is genuine people. It's nice to know that there's still genuine people in the world that don't have bad intentions.
Yep. You're right on that. So no. And Jared just asked, former wrestler, does this mean he's retired? He's kind of, you've answered that. Please come
I saw
back
a lot of people asking, so hopefully, I know it's not the best answer. I'm not coming back tomorrow, and I'm also not done, but hopefully it's enough that, people understand kind of where I'm at right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And all right, so Leo Connors, we've had him on the show a couple times.
I love Leo. Leo's a great guy.
The host of the Ring and All Their Sports. I don't like seeing this guy's either, so Leo was a little bit sad. But he goes, what do you think? What are your thoughts on Trigger turning on Christian? And that Trigger the OG, or also Triplicious, I think is what he goes in Chaotic. Any thoughts on him turning on Christian?
My former tag team partner / champion with me, right? For the culture. Is almost all but done at this point. But I think it's natural in the progression of where the group was going for him to make that move. Christian's a natural baby face at the end of the day. He's a good guy. He plays a heel very well. He's a very good bad guy. He's very charismatic. He's a good-looking guy. He's cocky. He can do it. But there's also something about him that makes you want to cheer for him. Because he is charismatic and a good-looking guy, and he can do everything, and he's very good at it. So we've already seen them together. They were together long before I was part of the group. Yeah. And I don't think anyone wanted to see that again. So I think, for Trigger, Trips is like what I like to call him. For Trips, it's probably a better move for him to stay heel, separate himself from Christian, let Christian do his own thing, get some shine on himself. Trigger was great in my development. He definitely helped carry me along and get me to a point where I could do a lot on my own. He helped with with the group and with Christian's development. And so again, he's at a point now where he can really just go back to being on his own, or again find somebody else. Somebody else that he might see something in that he wants to be a part of. And then with Christian's natural progression, put him by himself, let him go flourish.
I'm excited, I'd say, because, every week they reload it, and I watch that, and I there's a little comment section, like, I want to see this match, and I think Christian said, I don't want that match, or something like that, but...
I think Christian's done with it. So I know, I've established some really good friendships in wrestling. Christian is one of them. I've known Christian since 2013. We came in, we trained together, and... he's someone that I will always have. I mean, he's like a little brother to me. We'll always have a relationship, whether I come back, no matter what he does. But I can say that he won't be around long.
Yeah,
his time is coming, and probably sooner rather than later. So again, for them to separate and just kind of let Trigger start building his own thing, it's probably best. Because again, I don't picture Christian really being around for that much longer.
I have to say, as a fan of the local wrestling scene, I've been watching, I don't know, since probably like 2013 is when I started going. But it was like, I don't know, I have 10 years, I think, on Anthony Green and Christian Casanova. But it's been fun as a fan to watch their progression as these young kids and watch them turn into what they are.
Oh yeah,
because it didn't happen overnight. These guys.
Of course.
They came into their own.
Of course. They got to find themselves. They've been through multiple gimmicks, things that they had to test, find themselves in who they are. I'll say I was blessed in that sense. My first stint in Chaotic was very short. People don't remember it.
I think I do.
A lot of people don't remember it.
I was like, who's this John Cena?
So I had, I came in, I had, short hair, and, I had a couple matches, and that was that kind of thing. And I took my hiatus and then came back. When I came back, I was in a good spot. One of my best friends is one of the top guys in Chaotic, Christian, right? He got a group, they're established. It only made sense for me to go get with him and learn, under the learning tree with him and Trigger. So it worked out well for me where I didn't have to go through all that progression. Fans got to know who Royce Bishop was right away, know exactly what I'm all about, learn my character really quick where I didn't have to go through all these character arcs and changing.
It was it was almost like a perfect storm. Like it was a perfect fit. Because you already had Triplicious and Christian together, and then you came out, and I think there was a couple times where you were rapping a little bit, and I was like, oh, this works.
We had, it's funny that you bring that up. That was always a point of contention for me. So a lot of people don't remember, but there was a show, it was a Cold Fury show where I performed the theme music before I was back in wrestling.
Yeah, okay.
I believe that was
2017?
It might have been a New England title match. No, it might have been it was a tag team title match.
2017?
2017, I think it was. Yeah. So I had already been out of wrestling for a couple of years. Christian had already called me, and I've said this on Leo's show as well. He called me, asked me to use my music. Yeah. Being a former rapper, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like I'd be honored to use my music. And then he called me for Cold Fury and said, hey, would you perform me out for it? And I'm like, absolutely. I'd absolutely perform for it. And so then when time came for me to come back to wrestling, and then Royce Bishop joined the group, that was something with the booking team that we had talked about, like me coming out. I think the very first show I rapped on was Brian Fury's comeback show.
Yep, I remember. Yep.
So I got to tear into him. Him being a mentor and my teacher, was really fun getting to tear into him. And then I may have did like one other rap, besides people knowing that I performed the theme song, as fans got to know that. And then something with me, I don't know, I never wanted to leave rap behind, but something with the John Cena gimmick and him, Thugonomics and him rapping, and guy on the Indies, Max Caster.
Yeah, now he's doing it.
And now he's doing it for real on AEW. I'm a better rapper than he is, I think. But I was like, I felt like I'd get pigeonholed. Yeah. It's like, okay, like am I gonna be K Quick? Yeah. R-Truth before, like, am I going to be the Road Dogg? Like, okay, Road Dogg had a great career. He's amazing. But am I going to get saddled with that where I'm stuck, where I'm going to have to rap my way to the ring all the time and all these different things? And I didn't want to do it, so I broke away from that.
I don't think you needed it either. I think it was a good
so me personally, like, not to toot my own horn enough, but I felt like I could talk well enough that I didn't need to have the rhyme gimmick for people to want to listen to me, rather than just give me a mic and let me go. Yeah. Let me use my metaphors and my punchlines, but in a way that doesn't rhyme, but it's stuff that catches people, makes them laugh or whatever. Very similar to like how The Rock was. Yeah. The Rock had his song and points, and I could have did that with rap, but then he also has his regular talking points, and you can mix both rather than just being strictly that. Elias is kind of like that in the sense where he only gets to do his singing thing, right? Like I don't think he really cuts real gimmicks in WWE.
No, not often.
Where it's like his promo is like he doesn't really cut a real promo. So again, for myself, if a company strictly wanted that, and if Chaotic strictly wanted that and said, hey, no way you can go outside of that, then okay, fine, I'll do it. But I think we forced their hand a little bit. I think, me and Christian and Trigger were like, you know what? This is how we're going to do it instead. We went out there and did it very similar to, how a lot of guys in the Attitude Era did it, and we made it work. And once the fans got behind it, we were undeniable at that point.
And you had three guys that could talk. Yeah. All of you you give them a mic, they're going to be able to handle it. And that's, I think, something in the wrestling business that's like one of the hardest things, is to just give someone a mic and let them go. Just as a fan, I feel like that's, because I feel like you can teach anybody, not anybody, you got to have athleticism to wrestle.
Yeah.
But to have that ability to get comfortable and just say what you got to say on a mic, I give you guys a lot of credit.
I would say there's there's more people that are athletic in the business that can do all the crazy stuff than there are people that can get on a mic and entertain a crowd for 15 minutes just with a microphone in their hand. Right.
Yeah, I don't want to hear Ricochet talk. I can't stand Ricochet when he talks. You know what I mean? Like,
he's a super athlete.
Yeah,
right?
but
unbelievable stuff. Yeah, absolutely. I can, I see that from a fan standpoint all the time, and that's something I try to develop, was to be able to do both at a high level is what I wanted to do.
Awesome. All right, well, you got 2 more fan questions, and we want to get into some other stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dave has a couple. We'll go through these quick. Why did you retire from wrestling? We just answered that.
Yeah, we know it.
How did you become a horror fan? Horror movie fan, I should say.
So, I'm a huge horror movie fan. I got Michael Myers tattooed on me. We did a cool show ranking all the Halloween
movies. We got another one
movies.
coming too.
Yeah, we're working on another one. So, I've always been a fan of the storylines in horror movies. So I've never really been someone who's like a super slasher fan. Like all the 80s slasher movies I think are terrible. Like My Bloody Valentine and any of those. But like movies like Scream or Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, right, that have a story. If you consider it horror, which I do, the Saw franchise I think is amazing. I think the storytelling is, especially in the first 3, it got a little watered down. Then I think it came back at the end, and I'm really looking forward to Spiral, which is going to be like kind of the same idea spin-off with Chris Rock doing it. So I'm looking forward to that kind of stuff because I love storyline based. I love the new Halloween. I love how it's tying in the old stuff. So the way I really got into it was through my dad at a very young age, which I don't do with my kids, so I don't suggest have your kids watch horror movies at 9. But it was in a different generation, in the mid 90s.
Yeah.
I watched Halloween. It was the first horror movie I ever watched, and I just thought the Boogeyman, Michael Myers, was the coolest thing in the world. It was just like it wowed me. I fell in love with horror movies ever since then. I always got into it, but it has to have a compelling storyline. I need something to grasp onto it, some kind of motivation. Why are they doing it? Like some more suspense, I guess, than horror. Horror, I think, is usually people assume it's like blood and guts.
No, it doesn't have to.
Yeah, and I'm not looking for blood and guts. Hostel, right? It's a cool movie. It's some some dark stuff, in a movie like that. It's good, but that's not what I'm looking for.
Well, you said this on the episode, the first Halloween, there was no blood.
None at all.
Not
one drop of blood.
You don't need that.
No, I'm more of a suspense. Make me jump out of my skin, and then also give me a good storyline to follow with it, and I'm all in.
And we talked about this off air, Midsommar. We talked about this with Gio last week. I'm highly recommending this movie to people. Dave also asked, just real quick, what are your thoughts on the COVID vaccine and its rollout? I mean, pretty.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. Let's get it out. Joe Biden said he wanted his first 100 days in office to be like 85% vaccinated. Like, let's get it going. I'm noticing Massachusetts is very slow on it. So, and I don't know why. Again, I'm definitely not the guy that's going to sit here and pretend like I know every ins and outs of where things are going and how. But we need some sense of normalcy. Speaking from, again, I wouldn't like to call myself an advocate for mental health, although I would like to. Honestly, I would like to talk more about mental health with people because I struggle with it, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. There's no stigma, nothing like that. But I've had days where I've locked myself in my room and I can't muster to get up and do anything. And I think we need a sense of normalcy. All the people that are struggling with stuff like that, a big part of that is us being, almost like locked in a cage, like we're stuck at home. There's no gym, there's no sporting events, there's nothing to go to. You can't see family. I personally lost 9 people in 2020. None of them to COVID, so all different reasons. It's very hard. I went to 1 funeral out of 9. I guess 2.5. But it's very hard. You lose that amount of people. You can't see family. You can't do things like that. So if the vaccine is a 95%, immunity rate, then let's go. Let's get moving. There's so much money in this world, right? And it gets allocated to all these places. Let's all chip in, and not by us. All you billionaires get together and let's stop this and move on. Let's get to our. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's just I think a lot of us just can't see it right now.
Can't see it, and I think the winter doesn't help.
No, not at all.
Especially when
seasonal depression is a real thing.
It is.
I don't care how good your mental health is. it's when I walked into the studio, it's freezing. I didn't even want to get out. I'm like, man, I should have just told Dan come sit in my car, and we just FaceTimed it right
Justin,
there.
Can we do that? Can we film in cars? Okay, so we'll go through these quick because we get some time and we get some other stuff. Gary Stillwell, 2-time guest of the show. Did you say former wrestler? Yes, we did. What do you think of independent wrestling, both pros and cons? And then he wanted to know, give me 16 bars. You have YouTube stuff out there, I'm sure.
I do, I do. So my rap moniker before I was a wrestler was Quest the Youngin. That's THAYOUNGN. I have 2 albums, Quest for Greatness. My second album was One Night Stand. One Night Stand has the Christian theme song on it. You can also go and find Christian's theme song just by putting in Christian Casanova theme song on YouTube. You'll be able to get it. So I won't bore you guys with bars and profanity.
Maybe another episode. But Gary, if you want to look it up,
but I appreciate it. Absolutely, look it up. Shoot me a message. I'll get you a CD. I'll say send me your address. I'll send you both copies of my CD. I'll be happy to. As far as independent wrestling goes, because I don't want to be too long-winded, because I know we want to get through some stuff. Indie wrestling it's open right now for a lot of people to go grab what they call the brass ring, which is why I definitely have a hard time not being involved right now. For instance, if you just look in our home base, right, you have Christian, who in my mind is 100% on his way out. You have AG and Josh Briggs that are gone. They're signed. Bear Country just went to AEW. Right, I'm sure Mike Verner's not far away from that. JT Dunn's not far away from that. So these guys that have been running the scene for the last few years, they're not going to be around that much longer. They're going to keep getting picked up, and now's the opportunity. And I think we're going to see a lot of great wrestling come out of it. Yeah. Because you're going to see a lot of younger kids. I can call them kids because I'm an old man now. You can see a lot of younger kids that are hungry that are going to push for that, and to get those spots. So I think indie wrestling's in a really good spot because of that. I don't see any really cons. I think the cons is there's not going to be as much star power because you have to build. And we'll get there. You got to build them again. So support all these young wrestlers that they're trying to get over. Go and support them as much as you can. Subscribe to the YouTubes and follow the social medias and share it and do everything you can to help get them noticed.
And I got to give Chaotic credit because you're used to having shows every couple of months. Now with this Reloaded show, which I know it's probably harder to generate. I've donated a couple times, but it's probably harder to generate money. But you are getting people exposure weekly.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
Absolutely.
One last fan question. We'll have to get through a couple other things a little quick. You're a great guest. That's why we got a lot of stuff
Appreciate
here.
It. We'll do part 2 sometime.
From Jesse Martiner, Tasha Steeles, one member of the culture, is now a Knockouts tag champ. How much bigger is her viewership on the show with the collaboration of AEW?
Yeah, AEW is absolutely helping Impact get some views now. I think a lot of their fans are one and the same. They're diehard wrestling fans. They're definitely not the casual viewer. But it's so hard to find Impact if you're not a diehard wrestling fan. You know, whereas AEW, you can catch it as a casual viewer nowadays, just throwing on TNT. So I think that's going to help get more eyes on her. She's amazing. She's the culture queen. She's star power written all over. I will tell you, I'll let everyone in on it. The goal was, if we were going to do a breakup angle, would be a triple threat with her as the special referee. And we never got to it. If we were going to do a culture breakup angle, that's how we would have did it. If we could have did it for the belt, even better. But again, her getting signed, me kind of falling off where we're at. But
yeah, I think COVID just kind of ruined some things.
She's great. She'll be a Knockouts champ someday, and she may be an AEW Women's Champion, decides to go there, WWE Women's Champion, whatever it may be. But she can do whatever she wants to do. She can talk. She can wrestle. She's amazing.
And just wanted, just for the record, because there was one time on Leo's show, and I don't know if Tasha saw it and took it personal, where she was that babyface character that was just kind of, we're like, meh. But then we saw her go heel and was like, oh, okay, she has so much personality. Let her have that personality.
She should have never been a babyface. You know I don't think so. I don't think she should have been. She got to be herself more as a heel, too. It was definitely more up her alley.
She looked comfortable.
She wanted to do it forever. We had talked about it for a long time, about even before I joined, her name was on the table before then. So she fits really well where she's at right now.
Yeah, she's doing great. And Impact on, I forget whatever network it is, on Tuesdays, but it's been really good. Bucks won. I don't want to talk too much about that. We predicted the Chiefs on this show. We were wrong. Tom Brady, you are the GOAT, the greatest athlete ever. But were you surprised to see him drunk yesterday?
I loved it. I loved it. He looks like he's having fun.
Yeah.
I love Tom.
Yeah.
And the more I see Tom win, enjoy himself, I see Gronk enjoy himself, it makes me not like Bill as much.
Yeah.
I'm having a really tough time because I'm a diehard Patriots fan. But, Tom came about when I was 14 years old, so like more of my life has been with Tom than without.
Yeah.
Same, yeah. It's definitely the more success he has, the more fun he has. I'm happy. I'm happy to see it. But it's like bittersweet, right? it's my ex going to find a better boyfriend.
Yeah.
I'm having a problem here.
That's exactly what it's been.
Identity crisis.
All right, real quick. Do you have a favorite sports moment all time?
04 World Series.
Okay. That is like, I feel like that has come up on this show. I
was a junior in high school. Yeah. One of my close friends was a Yankee fan. So not even the World Series. I could even, yes, the World Series because it needed to happen. But again, I was a junior in high school. So I didn't go through the years like my uncle and my dad and my grandfather had gone through. But the coming back against the Yankees, yeah, that's probably even bigger moment, I think.
It was absolutely
that was like winning the World Series. So luckily they won it because if they lost, it would have stunk.
Because I remember there was a time in my life I saw a Yankee hat and I was like, that guy's automatically an asshole.
Now it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't.
We got more rings than them in the 2000s than they have. So, now it's in my lifetime, it's really close to who's more successful now. So, if I had to name one, it's that. There's the Butler interception, right? The comeback against Atlanta, the Celtics getting a ring, the only ring I've ever seen since I've been alive.
Sure.
The Bruins ring, like those first championships are definitely a big deal, but just something with the Red Sox, especially in 2004. Obviously baseball is not as popular now, unfortunately.
The game is taking a hit.
During that time period, it the end all be all. Big Papi's journey through. 11 walk-off home runs throughout that. It was just unbelievable.
That was the best. And every day I remember when they went down 3-0 to the Red Sox. Every day I listened to On a Prayer, Bon Jovi. Every day. Two things real quick, and then we'll get into blank versus blank. I do want to talk to you about the Rob Zombie Halloween. We're going to save that for another episode. But what's your favorite moment in your wrestling career?
I definitely don't. I don't have one. Not even involving me was, Christian winning the Chaotic title was a big deal for me because I knew everything he went through.
Yeah.
For me personally, Cole Fury against the Hooligans. We opened the show.
And Brian Fury
was still packed. People were still coming in.
I heard the music.
It was 8:20. The entrance music hit at 8:20.
Yeah.
I got to have my kids be part of that entrance.
That's awesome.
If I could relive that night, I'd relive it 100 times. That's probably because of I could do all that was probably it was probably the best moment, the moment I look back on the most with the fondest memories. I wish I could relive that night. But I've had a lot of great moments. We had great matches with Bear Country, especially in Haverhill High, my old high school.
Yep.
We beat each other up all over the gym, which was great. Got to have all my true friends there that got to see it. We went down to New York, faced the Rep. That was great. That was me coming back after my shoulder. Probably one of the best matches I ever had. So some great moments, but definitely going to that Cold Fury, having my kids be a part of that entrance, having all my close family and friends there to see that was great. Just we lost.
One of the best Cold Furies I had been to, and I started going in 2014. I went to all of them after that. But that, I will say, to start the show with a match that you're really, that's what they started doing with WrestleMania was like you're really looking forward to a match. And then you're in line and you hear the music. You're like, come on.
Yep.
All right. I want to know big time in top fives. Then we're going to get to blank versus blank. But since you as a rapper, what are your top 5 albums?
Rap albums or just albums in general?
Albums in general.
So I like to say I have a wide variety of music. So it's hard to pick just 5 if I'm not breaking it per genre. But off my head, I could say Thriller. No particular order. Thriller has to be there. I think there's maybe one song that I'm not crazy about. Every other song is amazing. It's a 10-song album. It's unbelievable. Bobby Brown's "Don't Be Cruel."
Yes, love Bobby Brown.
That's probably 1A, 1B with those 2 albums. I actually have just huge fandom of Bobby Brown. Tupac's "All Eyes on Me."
Yep. Oh my God.
I have Tupac tattooed on me. He meant a lot to my childhood. Just his music spoke to me. Eminem show, maybe Eminem's third album, really stuck out, as well as a couple of Jay-Z albums that kind of stick out to me. Usher's Confessions.
Best R&B album of that decade.
Yeah, I would say
bar none,
since
in my opinion.
For me, since Don't Be Cruel, like that's in there for me.
You can listen to the whole album through.
I was in high school. It speaks to my high school years. When you listen to music and you can close your eyes and kind of take you back, you could smell what might have. There's definitely moments in that album that I feel like I'm right back in high school again. It's tough to narrow it to 5. Like I know I kind of gave 5, but like 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying holds a strong place in my heart. There's a lot of music in that stands out to me. Although it's not an album, I will say Aerosmith's Big Ones, greatest hits album, like that's their second greatest hits album. That it's if I just had to play albums, if you said, hey Anthony, you're stuck on a desert island, here's you got to choose 10 albums, that falls in the 10. I don't know if we get in the 5 though.
All right, no, I like that. I'm a big fan of all those albums, and I just want to say that you brought up Bobby Brown. Today's the 9-year anniversary of the passing of Whitney Houston, who is a goat in her own
Can't believe
right.
it's been that long.
I mean, there was one time I was just going through Twitter and I saw that and I went, no, her, Robin Williams, there might have been someone else that I saw Celebrity Death that I yelled.
Yep.
All right, blank versus blank. We'll get through these. More responsible for, so you got to pick one.
Okay.
And just say why. More responsible for the success of the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick or Tom Brady?
Tom Brady.
See, that answer's changing for a lot of people now that Tom has shown what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely. He has to play on the field.
Yeah.
Bill's an incredible coach. He's a horrible GM. He's not a good GM. I don't care. His
draft
has been very bad. Yeah. The whole idea of do a lot with a little goes away when you start losing a guy like Tom and other stars. I think he's going to find that out if he don't. We got a lot of cap space, so let's see.
Yeah, I don't feel like the book of Belichick, because a lot of people are writing him off. I'm like, guys, it was one season.
I got 5. Give me 5 more years to really fully make that decision. But as of right now, if you told me could I have McDaniels be the coach with Brady as the quarterback right now, or continue with Bill, if he didn't go to Tampa, I would have kept Tom. I think at that point I would have said, let me keep Tom and let Bill go.
And for the record,
especially when you see guys like Stephon Diggs and DeAndre Hopkins get traded, and the Pats aren't in on them at all because they don't want to give up stuff. Like you have Tom at the end of his career, you fill up with him.
And I gotta say, he's earned his right to jump wherever he wants, much like LeBron James has.
Yep.
Chaotic Wrestling or APW, Atlantic Pro Wrestling, worked for both of them.
Chaotic's where my heart is. Yeah, it's where my heart is. That was my school, that was my home. But I will say the APW fans shock me at how great they are. I mean, they're so loud. They could be a smaller crowd sometimes, and they sound like the loudest crowd I've ever been in. So
yeah, I never got to. I was gonna go to one of those shows, and then it's like
when things come back, if they come back strong, you absolutely should.
Yeah, no doubt. I'll go to maybe I'll go to wrestling shows every weekend. I don't know. WWE or AEW?
WWE.
Yeah, they're always going to be. I mean, I enjoy AEW on Wednesdays, but
I think I've wrestled on a lot of shows with a lot of those AEW guys. I don't want to say it's a glorified indie because that's an insult, but it's a lot of indie guys that I've worked on shows with. WWE still has a star power thing to me that I really enjoy. Like I enjoy it. It's just. I was a WWE guy, not a WCW guy too. So
me too.
No one's ever gonna. Maybe if I was a WCW guy, then I'd be an AEW guy.
Yeah.
But nothing can knock WWE off its.
I will say that I love the idea of a glorified indie show on national
Absolutely.
TV.
Well, because I love the wrestling. The wrestling quality is unbelievable. It's just for me, I'm always gonna be a WWE guy.
I'm always and Vince can be whatever he is, but I've always supported Vince McMahon. Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
Michael Jordan.
Okay, I didn't even hesitate.
Michael Jordan. It's not even like I have close LeBron friends that are LeBron fans. They try too hard to validate him for me that it makes me not appreciate him as much. I can honestly say that. Is he the greatest all-around basketball player to ever live? Yes. He is the greatest all-around basketball player. He does everything really good.
I agree.
Does he do any one thing amazingly? He's an amazing passer, but there's better passers. There's better rebounders. There's better scorers. So he does them all really well, and he's the total package. But if you're going to tell me who's the greatest scorer, then I'm going to take Kevin Durant. You're going to tell me who's the greatest athlete, I might take Jordan. Or the greatest winner, I'm going to take Jordan or Bill Russell. So it's like you find those different things where, again, he's the greatest all around. But the GOAT, and for what MJ did to the game, without Jordan, there might not be any basketball now.
I love Michael Jordan, but I'm a Scottie Pippen guy. And
I know you are. Yes, I know you are.
All right, 2 more real quick. Jason or Freddy?
Jason. Yeah,
okay,
Jason.
all right.
I'll go Jason. Yeah, I'll go Jason. He looks more badass.
And
Freddy got a little corny at the end, I would say.
Very corny at the end.
Yeah.
And we are going to do a Friday the 13th ranking episode.
I'm ready for that.
Very shortly. Last one. This is the toughest one in blank versus blank. The hardest question. Two of your former stablemates, Christian Casanova or Triplicious?
One's my tag partner, one's my best friend. There has to be criteria to it for me to choose.
Gotta pick one.
I'm gonna take Christian. I'm gonna take Christian. So again, it depends on what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take Christian if I'm gonna put my money on someone who's gonna go make me some money back.
Yeah.
He's a draw. He's younger and he's gonna be a star.
I agree.
So I'm going to take Christian.
They both seem like great guys. I don't know them.
Great guys. They're both great.
Like
They're both great. Me and Christian, I would say me and Christian have a personal relationship. Me and Trigger have a professional relationship.
Okay.
So I'm a little biased in that sense.
All right. Well, Anthony, I appreciate you coming on the show today.
Absolutely, man.
And we'll have to have you back because we had other stuff on the agenda,
Absolutely.
but this has been awesome.
We could have rifled it off a little quicker. I get it. Yeah, absolutely.
But we'll definitely have you back. We're going to have you for the Friday 13th special too. So, all right. But everybody, continue to keep your heads up. Wear your masks. We're going through tough times. We're going to get through it. Soapy pre-op again. Dude, stop running your mouth. You know where I filmed the show. So if you want to show up, show up. I mean, Justin, we have security. We don't have security here. So, Soapy, we'll have you bounced out of here. But until next week, let freedom ring.